Hello, it's me, your friendly Pokemon breeder Loctane, and I'm very excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and right now they're being pretty stingy with the news. So before I bust, I just really want to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is mostly going to be a compilation of my thoughts on what we've already seen and my wish list for the new game. I don't think really anything I'm asking for is out of the realm of possibility, but Pokemon just being Pokemon, I don't think they'll bring some of the stuff back that I wish they would. So as soon as I saw the trailer, I knew I love Scorbunny. I am absolutely hashtag Team Scorbunny. I don't care what its final evolution ends up being. I think I would rather have Scorbunny just hold an Everstone rather than have the other two. I love the other two, don't get me wrong, but I just absolutely am in love with Scorbunny. I love it very much. It's very cute and I cannot wait for it to be on my team. I want to name him King Cosmo, and or if it's a girl, I want to name it Queen Cosmo. And I kind of hope they have the secondary type either be electric or fairy. I like the idea of a fire electric and a fire fairy. I think if they were to give Sobble another type, I think poison or ghost would be cool. I can see them giving Grookey a fighting a ground type. I know it's kind of basic, but it seems more realistic that they would do something like that. Maybe his big stick turns into a club or something. So as far as my wish list goes for the newer games, I made a numbered list, and there's actually 17 items on here, but that sounds like a lot, but I'll go through them pretty quickly. I like to do little things with for my Pokemon and with my Pokemon, like Pokeblocks, Poffins, and the Pokeball mods, and anything I can do with or for my Pokemon, especially to reward them. Like I remember after the Elite Four, I took all my Pokemon to go get Malasadas in Alola. And in other games, I would always treat them to Poffins and Pokeblocks, and I just want to reward them for being so good to me and helping me get through the game, and I always develop a relationship with my Pokemon. I love them very much, they're very good to me, and I feel like they need to be treated accordingly. I know the reason they keep certain things past games, kind of like Pokeblocks stayed in Hoenn, so that maybe you want to go back and play the game for those reasons. Chances are these little things aren't enough to make you go back and want to play these games though, so I don't see any negatives into bringing them forward. And it would add a lot to the game just for me. I just really enjoy these little things, especially if I can do them with my friends. I remember me and my friends would always mix Poffins and Pokeblocks together, just like on the weekend or at lunch at school. My second thing is that I want quests with a quest log. They started doing a little thing in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon where you get little quests like, hey, like, help me find these glasses, or there was a bottle that you could find and then you have to give it to the right NPC. Sometimes you're not in the mood and sometimes you don't want to, or sometimes you just can't find it and you want to come back later. I think having a little quest log would be beneficial for everybody, and I think it would add a lot more to the games if they were giving us quests, even if it's just like, hey, I saw a pink Pokemon in the woods, can you help me find it? Can you catch it for me? I think that would add a lot to the game without crowding it or making it less Pokemon. I want as less legendaries as possible. In fact, I want the games to only have this one wolf legendary. I know that's unrealistic, and I know people like legendaries. I think a couple myself. As far as the meta goes, I don't know, I think legendaries should be rare and far and few in between. I don't think we should keep having more and more legendaries. Sinnoh really broke through the gate with all those legendaries. I just think, especially if we're going to get legendaries, I want them to have those events again. I remember it being really fun just to go to the island to get Cresselia, or the Dreamscape, whatever it was technically, and same with Darkrai. But I also hope all the Ultra Beasts are just left in Alola. I don't care for Ultra Beasts. I really don't care. I think they're mostly useless. Some of them are cool designs, but I just hope it's not another trend, like it's like the second type of mythical Pokemon, like per region. I hope we don't keep getting more and more Ultra Beasts. Fourth thing is that I want the Pokedex to tell you how the Pokemon evolves, but keep the evolution a silhouette, kind of like how they have been doing, silhouetting the rest of the Pokedex. I think it should show you if it has a previous evolution or a next evolution. I think it should show you if it evolves with stone, or level, or holding the DS upside down, or having a dark Pokemon in your party at level 33 or whatever. Because there's really no way to know how these Pokemon evolve unless you look it up online or a guidebook, especially if you're a kid and trying to evolve your Pancham or Inkay. Sometimes you might think they just don't evolve because of these weird restrictions, and maybe you've never found an Ice Stone, or maybe you never found a Water Stone or Moonstone, and you just don't know how they evolve because you never tried it. So I think the Pokedex should lend you a hand at the very least. Speaking of the Pokedex, kind of along with this is that I don't want Rotom Dex back. I hope Rotom Dex was Alola only. I can't really see them bringing him back, but if they do, at least let me turn him off. He was okay for the start of the game, and he's okay in the anime, but honestly, I just get tired of him, especially post-game, just trying to breed my eggs, and he's telling me to constantly save, or that this Pokemon affects this Pokemon. It's like, I got it, thank you, though. As far as like tutorials go, there should just be maybe a little guidebook that you can click on to tell you stuff. I definitely don't want a map that shows you the way to go constantly. I always kind of felt like they were calling you stupid through the whole game of Alola, where Rotom is just pointing to where you need to go next. And it is just kind of irritating for me. I wish I could have turned it off. It also made the place feel smaller just because it was obvious that chunks of the islands were cut off so that they could get you to go where they needed you to go in the order they wanted you to go in. And I understand that, but at the same time, I hope they give you a little bit more range. I don't want them to keep the PC system like Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. I like to organize my boxes, especially if I'm breeding, and going through that void pool of Pokemon was a nightmare. I prefer they keep the boxes, if they keep it so that you can still access boxes while you're on the go, like you don't have to visit a PC, but you can like open up your PC from the menu, kind of like if they basically give you a Pokebank in the game, where you can just kind of like go get your Pokemon whenever you want. Maybe that's how they can play it off. A lot of the new generation games like to build in real world things, kind of like how the new Pokedex is probably going to look like a Switch, how the other ones looked like the Game Boy SP and the just normal Game Boy. If they're going to keep the PC system from Eevee and Pikachu, I kind of hope that they restrict your access in places like the Pokemon League and gyms and stuff like that, just to make it so that you don't get too used to be able to having your Pokemon at all times. Especially because the whole premise of Pokemon is that you can only pick 6 and they're your team and you grow with them and learn with them. So if you're constantly being able to switch out Pokemon, it's a little less special in my opinion, but it is a lot more convenient. Obviously, we know the Pokemon aren't following you because we don't see that in the trailer unless they decide to change it, but I really wish that was a thing. I hope at least they keep the Poke Refresh, or Pokemon on Me. I don't know why they keep getting rid of the mini-games. I enjoy them. Like I said before, anything you let me do with my Pokemon, I'll enjoy, and it just adds to the game in my opinion. I actually wish they had more mini-games. I wish they had a gym matching game. I don't even care what the theme is. It'd be so fun to be able to play like a gym matching game in my Pokemon game. It'd keep me busy for hours. I don't know if they think that would take away from their other IPs like Pokemon Shuffle or whatever, but I think it'd just be a lot of fun if we had a gym matching game inside the Pokemon game, or like a good puzzle game, or maybe match the cards, or a fishing game. That'd be fun. Just stuff like that. I want there to be a trade-in PC that will offer to evolve your trade Pokemon for you. I always want to use Machamp and Golem, but my friends only really see each other every once in a while because we work opposite shifts, and I don't want to have to wait every time just to trade with my friend. I think it's something small, but also something important, especially for people who don't have friends or can't access other people. Maybe their friends just don't like Pokemon. Maybe they can't buy 2 DSs like I know some people have in the past. I understand why the whole Pokedex isn't available in both games, but I think there should at least be one person who will trade you the region exclusives for your region exclusive as an NPC. I understand why they don't normally do that, but I do remember owning, I think it was Pokemon Black, or no, it was Pokemon White. I remember owning Pokemon White and all I wanted was a Whimsicott, and so I got the trade Whimsicott from the girl who will trade you one for a Lilligant, and she was easily my favorite Pokemon. I loved her to death, and I think it was nice to be able to still access a Whimsicott at the very least, and I could always bring my own if I so desired. So I think having an NPC that would help you trade your Pokemon, just so you can get them to evolve real quick, and they can just like take it, and there could be a dialogue box that just says, oh look, your Pokemon evolved when we trade, and then they just hand it back to you. Like, it doesn't even have to be like you interact with them twice or whatever. You don't, and what if you have a shiny and you don't trust other people to take your shinies and give them back to you? I just think it's a small detail that I think we need. I hope there's no Festival Plaza. I didn't like anything about it. I didn't like the little shops. The shops would be better if they were in the game physically. I hated building that tower, I hated upgrading it, I hate Sophocles, I hated everything about the whole festival plaza. I don't care for it. I also hated that all our clothing options were based on colors we could get on our games. I understand the more game exclusivity they give it, the more reason there is to buy both, but it's little things like that that people won't really buy the game for, so just make them available. I don't know, I mean, it's marketing, it's whatever. I know I haven't really been numbering these, but the 10th thing on the list that I have written down is that I think trainers should be rebattleable. And I don't mean the verse seeker, I want to be able to basically replay the game with some Pokemon I breed post-game. And I think if you walk up to an NPC, it'd be pretty easy for them just to pop up with a dialogue box that says, "Oh hey, would you like a rematch?" I keep them the same level, especially for those who want to do what I want to do, and just kind of go through and replay the game. And if you need to grind, you can always just rebattle like the same trainers. Like, all of Pokemon's based on grinding. I don't understand why you just can't fight everybody all the time, because otherwise it's just slow. And there's really no reason for it, because it doesn't even help you beat the game faster. If you want to put in the grind time, then you were going to put in the time regardless. I wouldn't call it cheating if you just rebattle a bunch of trainers. I would also love that they give these trainers more than one Pokemon. For some reason in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, they decided to give pretty much everybody just one Pokemon, and especially in later games, I'd like to see them to have 3 to 6 Pokemon. If I'm going to battle multiple trainers in a row, can you please just make them double battles? I hated battling all the grunts, like grunt after grunt after grunt in Po Town, all of them having one Pokemon, and it's a Sandalite, and it was just the most annoying thing I had ever gone through. It was the first time we burnt out playing I wouldn't say the first time I burnt out, but it was the most memorable burnout point of me playing Pokemon Sun and Moon. I was just so tired of it. I had to finally pause the game and put it down, because otherwise you couldn't pry it out of my hands. I love Pokemon so much. I just wish they would let me have more double battles, and I'd even stand triple battles. I don't like rotation or triple battles, but it's much better than fighting one grunt after one grunt. If there's gonna be 3, just give me a triple battle. If there's 2, give me a double battle. If there really is just one grunt, fine. Single battle will do, but please give them more than one Pokemon. It's more annoying than... It doesn't feel like the battle's worth it, almost. It doesn't feel like you're really accomplishing anything when you beat one trainer with one Pokemon. My next... I skipped a few numbers. This is just a non-numbered list now. I hope they give the Johto starters Mega Evolutions. I'm absolutely dying for a Mega Typhlosion. Hopefully they won't ruin him with the bad ability like they did with Houndoom. Everyone else has a cool Mega Evolution. I think it's only fair that Typhlosion gets his turn. Especially considering they're, I think, the only starters with one type. I think all of them are just fire, water, grass. A Blastoise is also just water, but still, they're the only trio with nothing, and I've noticed a popularity with Chikorita and Typhlosion, but it seems like they always just forget about these guys. And Typhlosion's one of my favorite Pokemon, and I love him so much, and I just can't wait for him to get a Mega. I've heard the rumors about Armored Evolution, and please no, please. I've had enough. I don't want any more items to give to my Pokemon. I don't want another thing to add to the VGC meta. I don't want the whole thing to be bringing Primals, Megas, Z-Crystals, and now Armor, and then the Pseudo-Legendaries and the normal Legendaries, and it's so boring to watch the same matches over and over again, because the only way to win is to bring these certain Pokemon. I just don't want another thing to be added to that, like this armor. If it's just a legendary that has the armor, like it's a item like Hoopa or Giratina or Shamanget, just to change forms, I'd be okay with that. But for normal Pokemon, I think that's enough. I think we've got enough. I think they need to either go back to Megas, or add more Z moves, or just develop the stuff you already have before you just add another thing on there. I just hope it's not true. Speaking of irrelevant Pokemon, I hope they give past Pokemon baby or branch evolutions, just because. I think it's really a fun way to make older Pokemon seem more usable. I'm tired of them giving you a ton of friends. I don't want any more friends. I want rivals or no rival. I just want to be alone then. I'm tired of getting introduced to 8 characters who I don't care about, who I never will care about, who don't have enough time for character development or to do anything that really matters to me. I kind of miss when your rivals had a different opinion than you, like In or Silver. It makes the game a lot more interesting. It makes you actually want to fight, because the whole premise of Pokemon is to teach the player that they're training their Pokemon out of love. The better you treat your Pokemon, the better they respond to you, the stronger they get, and the faster they get strong. Your rivals are supposed to have a differing opinion so that you feel compelled to get stronger than them so that you can prove them wrong. It feels more like an accomplishment when you beat the rival at the Elite Four because you trained your Pokemon in a way that they said would never work. Every time they give you friend rivals, you're basically just beating up your friend. There's really nothing to it. I felt bad for beating Wally and how every single time, and they were just never getting better, and it was always bad, and it's just not fun. It's not great. I think the best way to get around this is to give you an actual rival or just give you no friends. I think it'd be interesting if you were rivals with a leader or a member of the bad team, or even like they start out with your friend and then you keep beating them up and beating all their Pokemon, so they think, oh, well, now I've got to change the way I train my Pokemon, and they start to be evil, or they start to be against you, or they start to be a meaner rival, and I think that'd be interesting. But I'm just so tired of having 4 different friends who just tell me different things at different times and make me go places that I don't want to go, and do things that I don't want to do, and I would rather almost just be alone at that point. My last point is that I don't care if they have a small pool of Pokemon so long as all of them populate the region. It took me forever to catch a Comfey, a Passimian, a Delmise, and I completely skipped over Rockruff even though when it was announced I knew I wanted him on my team, I wanted him super bad. And I never even saw a Moraine on a normal playthrough. Despite it being a Alola, there weren't a lot of Alola on Pokemon. It felt like they were kind of on the back burner, and I just don't want that to happen again. I'm perfectly fine with the world being populated with other Pokemon, especially Kalos, because they're so close. But as far as the new Pokemon go, I hope they're back in the sunlight. But yeah, that's all I have to say on Pokemon Sword and Shield. As far as the drawing goes in the background, I just really needed something in the back to talk over, because I felt like if I didn't upload anything with this video, it'd be kind of weird. And I wasn't originally going to upload this Speedpaint because I didn't really like the way it turned out, but I worked a little bit on Grookey's eyes near the end, and you can see it in the final image. And I'm a little more happy with it now. I didn't realize that's what was throwing me off, but after I fixed it, I felt a lot better about the picture. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you made it this far, if you agree or disagree, or what you would like to add or subtract. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye-bye!